Hello guys, welcome back to Enjoy Shop Point YouTube channel. I'm Chandrika. I will be posting videos on Power Automate. In this video, let's see how to split a string into an array with the split function. First, I will explain the split function before creating a Power Automate flow. After that, I will split various examples of a string into an array. I have already logged in here with my Microsoft credentials. So when I was typing make.powerautomate.com here, it was automatically navigating to my Power Automate homepage. Now you can see the Power Automate homepage has been opened. Now let's create an instant cloud flow here. Before creating a flow, I will explain about the Power Automate split function. Power Automate split function is a kind of collection function where it will split the strings into a substring of arrays based on the delimiter value. You can have an idea about it when we have created the flow. It will split a string based on the delimiter value or the provided value that we have provided in the expression of the split function. So let's create a flow for that and select an instant cloud flow. Select the instant cloud flow and in the trigger select manually trigger a flow here. Select manually trigger a flow and click on the create button. We'll see the first example of splitting a string with the text. So manually trigger a flow trigger has been added. After that, add an initialize variable. In the initialize variable, provide the value of the text. Take initialize variable and in the parameters, provide the name and type as a string. And in the value, I have already copied some string value here and I was pasting it. And I wanted to split the string value based on the text that is, and I wanted to split this into two array values, that is greetings and the remaining part from the end. And in the compose action, now we have to provide the expression here. Take split function. After that, from the dynamic content, take the variables of the text. After that, separate it with the comma, and within the single quotes provide and test the flow, and in the test flow window select manually and click on test, and in the compose outputs you can check the string has been splitted into two arrays based on the text what we have provided in the split expression. This is how to split a string based on the text. Let's see another example of splitting a date. In the manually trigger flow, I will take date as a trigger date, and in the compose, I will split this based on that. Take a take split function. After that, from the dynamic content, take the trigger date from manually trigger a flow. Now I wanted to split the date with the split expression, and in the split expression with the triggered body, I will be splitting based on the hyphen, because the hyphen will separate the date, month and year. So I wanted to split this into strings based on this hyphen. So click on update. After that, save the flow and test it. In the test flow window, select manually and click on test. After that, select the date trigger date that you wanted to split. I will be selecting 29, that is today date, and click on run flow. Click on done. Now you can see the flow ran successfully, and in the outputs you can see the outputs has been returned as a three substring arrays. Now in the one more example, that is split a string into an array and array to the elements. So after the manually trigger a flow trigger, I have taken a compose flow action with the value of this string. This string has is2 and pipeline as a separator. Now I wanted to split this into each array. So after that, I will take one more compose action to split the string into an array based on the pipeline first. So take a split function, split from the dynamic content outputs of compose, comma, and within single quotes, provide the pipeline. Click on add. After that, add apply to each loop control, and in the parameters, select an output from the previous steps as compose outputs 1 outputs, and inside the apply to each, add one more compose action. Here I will be adding one more compose action to split each item. split, take the items, and inside the items, take apply to each loop. After that, separated by comma and within single quotes as a delimiter that needs to be splitted. Click on save and test the flow. And now you can see the flow ran successfully. Here we have taken a string as like this, and in the compose one it has splitted a string into an array, and the array has been splitted into an each element in the compose too. This is how to split a string into an array and array to the element. Now we'll see one more example on Power Automate split a string with a delimiter, that is space or the comma. Now let's see the example of splitting a string with the delimiter, that is comma. After the manually trigger flow, take an initialize variable with the values like this, which is separated by the comma. That is separated by the comma, and in the compose, after that in the compose section, let's take the split expression that will split a string into an array with the comma as a delimiter, and in the variables, in the compose section of inputs, provide the split expression that will split a string that is separated by the comma. From the dynamic content, take the variables. After that, take a comma, and within the single quotes, provide the delimiter that is comma within the single quotes. Click on add. Now save the flow and run it manually. This is the output that we got from the split expression. Now let's see the last example of the splitting a string. Here in this example, I will explain split a string to get the last element from the array. Click on edit, and in the initialize variable, I will add one more value here. I have added one more value to the Power Platform, and in the compose action, we will take the expression as a inputs. To get the last element from the splitted string array, we have to use split function along with the last function. So I will take the last function first. After that, take split function, and inside the split function, take the variables of Power Platform from the dynamic content separated with the comma, and within the single quotes, provide comma as a delimiter and click on add. Now we will get the last item of an array from the splitted string. Similarly, we can also use first function along with the split function to get the first element from the splitted string. You can refer to the article provided in the description box so that you will get to know about the more examples on Power Automate split a string into an array with the split function. So click on save and test the flow. Click manually and test. Now you can see the compose outputs is only displaying the last item from an array. Here it is Power Virtual Agents is the last element, and we have got the last element from a string. So this is all about the examples of Power Automate split a string into an array. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you.